So today we are in front of the Champaign-Urbana Community Fab Lab, Fab Lab for short. It is an open source community fabrication lab, or in simple terms, it's a place where you can come create, design, and have a good time just taking ideas and making them into real life, actual things that you can use and give and have fun with, I guess.
So the Fab Lab stands for a fabrication laboratory, although I have a lot of students that think it's a fabulous lab or a fabric lab or that kind of thing. We are a subset of a makerspace, and the difference between most makerspaces and us is that we're a little bit more institutionally affiliated. There are Fab Labs all over the world, including one at the Museum of Science and Industry, which is like an area nearby, and they sort of have a different sort of museum spin. You'll find some at like tech schools and that kind of thing. But they're all over the world, including Afghanistan and Japan and places you might not expect.
So those who are not of technical backgrounds can easily have access to the labs, because once you learn the design software, which is very basic design software that you can learn to create, and a lot of the machines are, once you get your design done, they take care of the rest. So for example, like with our 3D printer, once you have your design, which you can get off the internet through different websites like Thingiverse, it then takes care of the rest, so you don't have to worry about any of the actual technical aspects of the machine. So the machines of the lab include, we have all of our computers for the designing. Within the actual creation machines, we have two different types of vinyl cutters that can be used for both making stickers, like the large one that you see on the door, and then also can be used for making paper artwork, so like pop-ups and other things. So there's that. We have some CNC routers, which can be used to make molds and circuit boards. There's a 3D printer, which kind of is like a motorized hot glue gun, where it takes plastic and it can make 3D objects. Our main machine is the laser cutter and etcher, which can cut through things like wood and acrylic, but it can also etch on materials such as marble, rubber. And it also has a rotary attachment, so you can do glasses and bottles and all things like that. And so we also have a very large volunteer network of people within the lab that already know all this stuff, so that if you do hit a stumble point, they'll be able to give you guidance and make sure that you then get onto where you need to be.
Yeah, you know, it started out of MIT, and they have a giant network. And like I said, so it's worldwide, and we have the sort of common open source ideology, but each lab will have its own spin, right? So we do a lot of focus on youth, for instance, here. And Museum of Science and Industry does a lot of focus on like general community patron use, right? But you'll find other Fab Labs that are very much like closed shop, like just entrepreneurship development or something of that matter. So we can sort of adapt to our local context as it's needed. I would say that we're actually big proponents for lifelong learning, so it's not just children that we're after. A lot of kids grow up and they just sort of learn that they get to like download everything. They sort of find the instant answer by Googling it or YouTubing it, and they're done. And they don't learn persistence or patience, and those are the kinds of skills that actually make them more successful in school, help them learn technologies. And by coming to a place like this, where instead of like memorizing the answer for a test, they're trying to create a thing. And the test is that whether or not their thing works, whether or not they care about their thing, and if they can try it time and time again to actually make it work. And so it's a very different kind of learning mode. In my area, in library science, it's really important that it is both critical and creative, so that they learn to think about how things work inside and learn to question stuff and inquiry, and like maybe not take it all, maybe not just consume it, maybe fight back some depending on what it might be, but also find good things in it. It's not just an episode and like tearing down and critiquing. It's also building, testing, and finding positive solutions as much as it is figuring out what's wrong with something and you know, taking it apart. By making things, we learn all kinds of things for self and personal development, but we also connect and make relationships with people around us. And also make new relationships with new ideas. And so I think all of those things kind of represent what the Fab Lab is and can be and will be.
I would say my favorite part has to be when we get someone new coming in and they've gone through the first steps of learning how to make something, and just that reaction of when they finally either use the laser cutter or the vinyl cutter or the 3D printer, and just the wow that comes out of them. And then also just how some people within a short time go from making maybe something like a name tag to some crazy full-blown scale project, which takes them multiple sessions to come in, and just seeing that progression.
We're also, I think this is important to note, is that we're free. Is that we don't charge membership costs. We really just charge for materials. And that's, I think, a big distinction between us and other kinds of makerspaces, that we have this sort of free public civic mission to what we do. one, if you're not sure what a Fab Lab is and you want to understand what we are and what Fab Labs do, go Google Fab Lab. You can do it 2 words, 1 word, doesn't matter. Will probably be the first result, Champaign-Urbana Community Fab Lab. There's a picture on the front of the website. Click on that picture. And I think that you will see tons of visual representations of what we are that will say what we are and what we do way better than long text descriptions that people don't read. As you'll see lots of pictures of events and the kinds of things people create and the kinds of people that are here and that kind of thing. If you're looking for guidance of how to get into making, I think a lot of people feel like they need to start big. They hear about like we have a quadcopter with video cameras and like barometric sensors, and they feel like they have to build something that complicated. And no, not at all. And in fact, we have people start with stickers, simple stickers. That's our sort of most entry-level workshop. Is that you can start small. I would say that computer literacies are a must, as in you have to know how to type and use a mouse. That is a basic requirement. But past that, I think that we can take all kinds of different people, and that mostly coming up with ideas, which you can get a lot of from pictures online and communities that share, or talk to us here, and the curiosity. Come in and be not afraid to try.